if you look at the device, and this is mine, right? So it's a nice matte black, and it's exactly the same unit. The only thing allegedly is they might have changed the Bluetooth chip, which might have been the problem. But it's exactly, there's no new functionality. They didn't add a button. They didn't do anything. The only difference is that one works with an iPad. So I was like going back and forth. Like, do I really want to do that? You know? Do I really want to? I mean, I could probably get like 180 for mine just because it's used or whatever. So, and I got an extra one of these express key remotes that I'm not going to use. So I could sell that and kind of break even, but I don't know. What would you do? I mean, it's kind of cool to have that on iPad, you know? Like all your problems are solved. Like Procreate is cool, but like sometimes getting to like the selection tools and shit, pain in the ass.
On my screen, I see these physical button things. You're saying there's an iPad version?
I'm saying that is the iPad version. So my version, when I bought it, this is mine. When I reached out to them, I said, hey, are you guys going to have iPad support? And they're like, yeah, we're working on the app right now. And I said, okay. So I spent $214 on that, brand new. And now I can't find the box because I think she threw it out. I ripped the whole house apart, and I don't ever throw out anything. So she must have just, you know, whatever. But so they just announced, it's not even, you can't even order it yet. And they just announced this thing. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the f***? I got to buy a new unit? It's Bluetooth. So the whole time, other people are complaining, saying that, you know, they were going to release this thing and with full iPad support, and it was because there was no app on iPad. Like, you know, configure the buttons and the shortcuts and all that shit. So that made sense to me. And then they started sending these emails out, and I'm like, what the f***? So I sign up and I go, and, you know, I hit them up on chat, and I'm like, what the f***? You got to buy a whole new unit just for iPad support? I'm like, why? It's Bluetooth. That doesn't make any sense. Like, Bluetooth is backwards compatible. It's all this is a fucking keyboard, basically. That's all it is. It's just, right? You're hitting buttons. It's just a shortcut thing. That's it. It's no different than this fucking thing, which Wacom made. How long ago did they make this thing? This 2019, something like that. Like, so half of me is like, you know, the balls on them, you know, to like know that everybody was waiting for this and essentially say, all right, you want iPad support, you know, here it is. You're going to have to buy a new unit, but there's no additional, it'll still work on PC, but I already got one that works on PC. So it's like, there's nothing you can do about it. If you want it, you're going to pay for it, you know? But, and then like,
so the one you have only works in Windows, right? You're saying,
right? Huh. It's fucking right. It's shitty that they did that. But I mean, what are you going to do if you want it, right? You got to do it. And then you see the color. It's like this translucent shit. So I'm like, are you guys going to at least offer different colors? Like, I mean, mine's in matte black. It fits with everything. And they're like, no, that's the only color. So I'm not in love with that either. I mean, maybe I'll learn to like it, but, you know, because I do have kind of a white, you know, it's not like it'll totally stick out, but you know what I'm saying, man? I just fucking bought this thing a year ago. So I was about to film like a review for it. That should be up in about a week or so. I'm about halfway through it. Because if I use this with this little box, I don't have to use a keyboard with fucking DaVinci Resolve. That's how good it is. I use this in one hand and the mouse in the other. And then, you know how I have the rails on my Cintiq? So I was going to put Velcro on the four corners and the middle, and then I was going to attach it. So basically when I'm drawing, I basically don't have to move. And then I was going to switch. I have the longer, it's called Cintiq, you know, those boards I got. I was going to take the longer one and put it on top, and then put my little keyboard, my Stream Deck right here. So because right now I got to reach over. Every time I want to change something or whatever, I got to reach over. So I was going to take that shit. I was going to put that here, my keyboard here. And then now all I need here is that TourBox. That's it. I don't need any other shortcuts. So it's awesome. It's just the principle of it, man. You know, like, that's really what it comes down to. It's like, it's a shitty thing, and they weren't being honest. They just released another. They call it TourBox Neo or some shit, and that just came out like I feel like a couple months ago, and they did not disclose that. They were kind of keeping it hidden that they were going to come out with this whole new TourBox, because effectively this makes all the other ones obsolete. I mean, if you don't care about iPad, I guess it doesn't matter. But like, if you were going in the store and one does iPad and one doesn't, which one are you buying? So now anybody who's got one of these, you're either reselling it now or you're not going to get anything for it, because, you know. So I don't know. Would you do it?
I mean,
would you?
I would just be fine with the one on computer. I mean, buy a whole nother one just to have it be able to use it with an iPad. That's crazy. Computer's better.
Yeah, I thought that too, and I said to myself, how often really am I out? Do you know what I mean? Like, how often am I really
this isn't something that you out, all right? You buying this is like me buying a tool from Ryobi that I will never do that, whatever that tool does, but I bought it anyway. That's what
well,
this is.
I'm not saying I won't do it. What I'm saying is, when I bought this one, I was under the impression that this one does that because that's what they said.
Yeah.
So I feel like
it's possible the whole Bluetooth chipset is completely different, and that's why they won't, or maybe that's why they won't update firmware on yours.
There must have been some they must have, I don't know. They could have had an incompatibility. It's possible, but to me, even if it was like Bluetooth like 4 point, it's just a fucking button input. Like, I can sync anything with my iPad. Anything. If it's Bluetooth, it syncs, no problem. So it's like hard to believe it. You know, it's hard to believe their story. If like they legitimately were like, yeah, we couldn't get it to, you know, it's not going to work, and they explain why, you'd be like, all right, that sucks, but what are you going to do? But then they could have been a little bit more honest about like the roadmap. Hey, look, we're coming out with an iPad specific supported model whenever, you know, and they didn't do that. So like, to me, I'm like, I would have waited, because it's not like I've been drawn all that much or whatever, but I don't know. At the end of the day, it might eat away at me enough that I do it. Just to be transparent, I did wind up buying the TourBox Elite Plus. Whatever. As soon as the product's released, I'll do a comparison, mainly targeted towards iPad users, obviously, but also a little bit of Windows as well if there's differences. And you can look at that review. That is targeted for release sometime in December, so as soon as that comes out, I'll have the review up ASAP. And I'll check you guys out in the next one.